Hello, and welcome to ARC Wireless Solutions' presentation of cost savings and revenue growth with the new ARCFlex products. My name is Ryan McKenzie. I am the Director of Sales at ARC Wireless, and over the next 20 to 30 minutes, I will present ways that you as a service provider can shave costs and at the same time increase revenue by using the family of ARCFlex products. Now, many of you already know the ARC Wireless name. Those of you that do already know the commitment to quality that we have had over the years in making passive antennas and components. Today we extend that same commitment to quality to the ARCFlex product family. The ARCFlex line of products was born out of the realization that current solutions and technology are not effectively meeting customers' needs. After all, most of the products that are on the market today are based on technology that is well over 10 years old. The brand names may have changed, the enclosures look different, but in the end, it's still the same technology that service providers have used for years. ARC Wireless is committed to bringing the next generation of products to the market, introducing technologies that will truly help you grow and expand your reach without sacrificing any of the quality that you've come to expect from the ARC Wireless name. Today, we introduce you to the same industry-leading family of full radio solutions. The ARCFlex family of products consists of complementary pieces that work in harmony one with another and give you the tools that you need to build a world-class network at an affordable price. All of the products in the ARCFlex family are built around the premise of having multiple radios at your disposal. This gives you something that no other vendor will give you: flexibility. With that flexibility, you can now build your network in more creative ways to help you reduce costs and grow revenues. This starts with a split station, a dual radio set consisting of an indoor 2.4 GHz AP along with an outdoor 2.4 or 5 GHz MIMO client. The free station is a dual radio 2.4 GHz AP with a 2.4 or 5 GHz MIMO client, all in a clean outdoor enclosure. The iFlex is a 2.4 GHz indoor AP, giving you 2 Ethernet ports and 2 USB ports, all in a small, attractive form factor. The split mark. Much like the split station, it consists of a 2.4 GHz AP designed for outdoor use, along with a 2.4 or 5 GHz MIMO client. The flex mark is an outdoor 2.4 GHz AP, providing you with 24 volts DC PoE pass-through port, allowing you to power any 24-volt DC device regardless of polarity, all while broadcasting your network to expand your reach. And finally, the Flex USB is a 2.4 or 5 GHz outdoor USB MIMO client in a small outdoor enclosure for an ultra-low cost. Never used a USB device outdoor in your network? Well, after today's presentation, you'll see the advantage and will understand why these products will change the way that you build outdoor networks. While we will go into more detail on the products, we must first understand the approach to products that we have when designing the ARCFlex family. First, our value price. We give you a CPE and AP in one package, all for a lower cost than competitors' CPE or client device alone. Second, we will address carrier network maintenance and tools that we've built that will make it faster, easier, and more affordable to maintain your network. Third, every device in the ARCFlex family has a free hotspot built in. Why should you care? This will be one of the fastest and easiest ways to increase revenue on your network without a major capital investment. And finally, easy network repeating using our network extension feature allows you to increase coverage at a fraction of the cost using standard technologies. All of this means 2 things for you. 1, reduce your costs, and 2, increase your revenue. First, let's look at the challenge of cost. Current devices that are on the market are simply too expensive. In a typical installation, you will need 2 devices. One typically is mounted on the outside of a building as a client to catch the wireless signal, and then another is installed inside the premise and is used to rebroadcast that wireless signal. As the service provider, you must decide if you will supply and then support the device that sits indoors, or if you'll allow the customer to provide their own. If you provide the premise device, then you add cost to your installation. However, if you don't, and allow the customer to provide their own, you run the risk of the customer tampering with the configuration and losing connectivity to the network. And if they do, you get the call from the customer and are expected to fix the issue. Now you have a support nightmare as your support team has to try and configure and troubleshoot whatever brand of radio that the customer has purchased. How do we solve this problem? A solution that can not only receive the WAN signal, but also redistribute that signal. Our split station includes an outdoor radio that acts as a directional wireless client or CPE, but also gives you an indoor unit that retransmits that signal. All of this for less than the typical client-only radio for most of our competitors. Let's discuss some additional benefits of this solution. You have now a product with 2 radios that is lower in cost than competitive products with only 1 radio. You have a solution now that is less complex than competitive solutions, resulting in higher reliability and lower maintenance. You have now a complete solution for your customers, which means fewer problems, resulting in better customer service, and less employee training on your part since they don't have to learn multiple brands of radios. And this, of course, allows you to focus as a carrier on what's most important to you, adding revenue. Now let's look at another challenge that service providers all face: installation. They can frequently be a big challenge for service providers. Often 2 people are necessary for aiming, changing configuration, etc. One is on the roof or top of the tower aiming the client equipment, and the second is in the customer premise or at the bottom of the tower, usually with a laptop, directing the first installer via a 2-way radio or cell phone to move the client device for fine-tune aiming. If you try to rely on LEDs only for aiming, the resolution is just not great enough to achieve proper tuning. In addition, with today's MIMO technology, you'll need to align both the vertical and the horizontal channels. So in order to achieve proper tuning, you need LAN access, which is usually only available at the bottom of the tower or inside the customer premise. How do we solve this problem? We have a dedicated installer network, or SSID, that is always available. We have also created an iPhone and Android app that are both available today in the App Store or Android Marketplace. This allows a single installer to be on the roof or at the top of the tower and use their cell phone to access the client device and achieve fine-tuning without the use of a laptop or second installer. Now let's look at some additional benefits of this solution. An installer network, or SSID, is always available. Because of this, you'll never lose connectivity to the device, and you don't have to rely on a separate program such as a Mac sniffer if you ever lose IP connectivity. You will also have full access to the device for testing and configuration, even when the premise is physically inaccessible. This allows your support team to handle all maintenance without ever stepping into a customer's home or relying on a customer to keep an appointment that has been made. This also gives you one-handed installation with the free iPhone or Android app. No second installer is required, cutting your install costs in half. And lastly, the GPS location is automatically saved to the client radio from the installer app, simplifying your management and allowing you to map your network easily in a network management software. Now let's look at another challenge that all service providers face: upgrades and maintenance. Over time, every network will require upgrades as new technologies come to market. For example, if you decide to change the frequency that your network is broadcast on, or if a new technology such as WiMAX or LTE is implemented. Again, the standard way can be very expensive as an appointment with a customer must be scheduled, and often they are missed and need to be rescheduled. And without access to the premise, the upgrade can't take place. Our solution saves you time and therefore money. The modular design of our product allows for easy replacement. As we've already discussed, premise access is not required for upgrade or repair. As long as you have roof access or tower access, then simply switching the client radio upgrades your customer. The customer network never changes, so to the customer it is a completely transparent upgrade. And again, the premise access is not required, so there's no need to coordinate scheduling with the customer. And lastly, because of the installer SSID, your techs can easily upgrade or repair your network and then test and verify, all from the comfort of a service vehicle without ever having to access the customer premise. Now let's look at a common problem that every service provider will face at one point. If the customer has an issue with the network and can't connect, as the service provider, you have to determine where that problem is. Is it the customer network or the carrier network? Now, with competitive products, you usually don't have visibility into the customer network. And we all know that the customer doesn't care where the problem resides. All they know is that you provide them a utility, and now that utility is not working, and it's your responsibility to fix it. As a service provider, you must now decide if you are going to help troubleshoot the customer network, and if you do, will you charge him for your valuable time and risk making the customer even madder? The ARCFlex product family provides a simple solution to this age-old problem. Our product provides visibility all the way to the customer device, so there is no question where the problem is. If the problem resides on the customer network, well, now you have full visibility of the customer network and can easily fix the issue and make the customer happy. And again, no need to learn many brands of consumer routers because everything's included already in one package. Now let's discuss another issue that faces every wireless service provider and the solution that we offer with every ARCFlex device. As a provider, you really only have one stream of revenue, and that is dictated by the number of customers you have. In order to reach more customers, operators are constantly trying to extend their network further to reach inside the premise, reach a neighbor, or a local community. The traditional approach dictates that you can only reach the customers that you have line of sight visibility from your base station. However, if you have a customer you want to reach but there are obstructions between your tower and the customer, you lose that customer as a potential client. The solution is very simple. Our network extension feature gives you a repeater built in for free on all installed devices. Now the customer that is hidden from an obstruction is a potential customer with just the simple activation of the network extension feature in any of the ARCFlex products. This creates two secure and isolated networks, allowing you to take a traditional star network and add network coverage at the end of every point of the star. This allows you as a service provider to increase your coverage and thereby increase your revenue. Another way to expand your network coverage and increase revenues is to add hotspot capability to your network. Adding hotspot capability to your network will add incremental revenue. However, this can be difficult. With current technologies, additional equipment is required to enable that hotspot service. This means a capital investment in order to make that incremental revenue, which means now you have to decide if the return on investment is worth it, as you are also adding maintenance and complexity to your network. If you use the ARCFlex family of products, you now have a hotspot network built in for free on all installed devices. In this example, a standard FreeStation 5 acts as the CPE or client device for the first customer. By enabling the hotspot service on the FreeStation, nearby neighbors can now connect to the hotspot network to buy service. However, don't worry about affecting your first customer, as our advanced hotspot service allows you to separate all hotspot traffic from your customer traffic and gives you bandwidth control as well. Now, if you have customers close to a common area such as a park or shopping center, you can allow others in the area to connect to your network and buy your service immediately, giving you an additional revenue stream without the cost or complication of adding separate equipment to your network. Now let's look at some additional benefits that are worth pointing out. Your separate hotspot network can run in parallel with customer and carrier network without causing any interference with your current networks. You can run the hotspot service on both the wireless network interface and any of the Ethernet ports. We use industry standard Radius AAA with whisper attributes such as URL redirection, bandwidth control, etc. You'll also now have one centralized login portal and payment gateway for all your hotspot traffic. And again, the best part is that this is available for free on all devices except for the Flex USB. So, by way of summary, The Free Station is a 300 megabit per second 2x2 MIMO client that comes in either 2.4 or 5 GHz using our patented antenna design. It also includes a separate 2.4 GHz AP that offers 150 megabits per second of throughput. It uses a traditional PoE installation using the included 24-volt PoE injector and also offers PoE pass-through to power up other PoE devices. As discussed, the Free Station includes separate customer, installer, repeater, and hotspot networks all from one device. All of the software is maintained by ARC, and lastly there's an external SMA connector for use with the included antenna or a different external antenna if you choose. The Split Station and Split Mark also delivers 300 megabit per second in a client radio that is available in 2.4 or 5 GHz and a separate 150 megabit per second 2.4 GHz access point, an indoor AP for the Split Station or an outdoor AP for the Split Mark. Both includes a USB cable that is 8 meters long to connect the client radio, or there's an optional USB cable that is 15 meters long for longer installation runs. All software is maintained by ARC, and again, the customer, installer, repeater, and hotspot network are all available and included. The ARCFlex AP is an indoor 150 megabit per second AP. It uses traditional PoE installation. It also includes the separate customer, installer, repeater, and hotspot networks. All software is maintained by ARC, and lastly there are 2 USB ports for connecting ARCFlex USB and future devices. The FlexMark is an outdoor 150 megabit per second 2.4 GHz AP. It uses traditional PoE installation. It includes separate customer, installer, repeater, and hotspot networks. All software is maintained by ARC, and there are also 2 USB ports for connecting ARC USB and future USB devices. Lastly, the FlexMark also offers a true outdoor demarcation box for customer installs and a dedicated point of entry and grounding point. The Flex USB is a 300 megabit per second MIMO USB client that is available in 2.4 or 5 GHz that includes our patented antenna design. It includes a fully adjustable mount, a weather-resistant enclosure, easy I/O access, and a standard USB cable or the optional 15-meter cable. All of this for an ultra low cost. Now let's look briefly at the ARC operating system or ARCOS. Each device in the ARCFlex product family is easily accessed using any standard web browser. Inside the web user interface, there is a built-in toolbox for easy and quick network analysis, including ping, traceroute, traffic generator, antenna alignment, and site survey. As has been previously discussed, the installer network enables easy device management from many devices, including our free iPhone and Android app. And when using the device apps, the GPS location is updated to the device, making network mapping and management a breeze. Lastly, there are status LEDs visible on the outside of each unit showing quick aiming and status. At ARC Wireless, we are continually innovating and creating. And even though the ARCFlex family of products is still considered new to the marketplace, there is still more to come. Pictured are just a few of the items that you should look for in 2012. For example, our Flex AP base station, which will add our Flex TDMA polling protocol to all of our devices. Our Free Station Mini that will be half the size and half the price of the Free Station, giving you another ultra affordable client radio option. Add our low-cost reflector to the Free Station Mini, and add 25 dB of gain, allowing you to connect from miles away. These are just a few of the products that we are working on, so keep checking in at our website for new product announcements at antennas.com. And finally, a last word about our ARC OS operating system and our plans for future development. First and foremost, always check our wiki page, found at antennas.com/wiki, for the latest up-to-date firmware. Keep checking back often, as we already have new features planned, including enhanced SNMP support with custom MIBs, as well as local hotspot login page with local user database. The last thing to remember is that our development roadmap is customer driven. We want to hear from you and want to create devices that solve the problems that you face every day as a user. So please join our forum at antennas.com/forums and start participating in the ARC community. I sincerely thank you for your time today and your willingness to learn about the new ARCFlex family of products from ARC Wireless. I hope that you have found it to be useful information and has given you some ideas on how you can reduce costs and increase revenue in your own network deployments. We welcome feedback and any questions, so please reach out to info@antennas.com and join the community at antennas.com/forums. Thank you.